Okay guys, welcome back. There has been quite a bit of change since the last episode, and I'm pretty excited to show it to you. I know in the previous episodes we were a little bit worried about the villager population, because I think we were down to 3 villagers at one point, and things have changed quite a bit. So we've built, now just to review, we built a couple of houses. We built this house right here, and then our house obviously right here. And then the 3 on the other side, and oh my gosh, 5 houses has done a lot to this town. Look at all these villagers. They are literally everywhere, and at nighttime it gets just ridiculous. They pack the houses to the hilt. The Iron Golem, we have now, my last count was 11 of them roaming the village, which means we have quite a bit of villagers. It is insane. They're just everywhere, which it is a really interesting problem to have, I think, just because I didn't anticipate the population growing this quickly. Look at this. They're just log jammed, and they can't even get in and out of this house. It's just nothing but doors opening and closing. And they're just literally everywhere. Earlier I came by, and this rooftop of this building was jam-packed with villagers. They couldn't move at all to get back down the ladder again. And you can see here, they're just all over the place, all out in the daytime here. And like I said, 11 iron golems, which is just crazy. And they do a really good job of protecting these guys, although the lights that I have also do quite a bit of work. And just these guys are literally everywhere, which kind of worries me, because I wanted to make this village absolutely enormous and just expand it all the way out there and continue going this way. And I don't know how that's going to work if they continue to populate at this high percentage to building, because just finishing these next couple buildings could do it for us. And I don't know how that works with the entity cap and how many people are able to be spawned at once. And I'm not sure what happens when we hit that. If we continue to expand the village and there's already the maximum number of entities in an area, is that going to stop them from spawning even further? And then is that entity cap, is it by chunk? And so as we continue to spawn or to move the village back, will this area then be allowed to spawn more people to where we could have this ridiculous of a population everywhere we go? Because this is too many. I mean, it's just chaos. At nighttime they hardly can cram into the buildings. All the kids have grown up, and it's just crazy. I mean, look at this. They're everywhere. And so I want to talk to you about some of the plans I've got going forward here, because I've got a lot of preparation done and not a lot of production yet, because I wanted to show you that. And so I've been down in the Mineshaft working on that, getting some resources, and laying kind of the groundwork for what's to come here, because we've got some exciting projects, and you may already have noticed a lot of the changes. So the first thing that I did is, and it's a small thing, it doesn't seem like a lot at first, but it was actually a lot of work, is I raised, I would say right about here, this layer of sand went down 1 layer. And so if you remember when we built our house, we had some steps to go into it, and this thing here was elevated. And so what we did is we raised the ground level up 1 block to match that far distance area with those houses. And so you can see now our house, the wood is flush. The cobble floor is part of basically floor level, and there's no stairs. And so I raised up this walkway as well to match, got rid of the stairs going into this house. And it's just a little bit more fluid. Makes a little bit of sense. And the other thing that I did is kind of lay some corner blocks for the buildings that we're going to make. And so this building right here is going to be, I believe, let's see, here's one corner, that's the other corner. And then we've got these corners here. So this is going to be kind of a bigger house, and I'm thinking this is going to be my enchanting room. I'm still going to need to walk it off and measure to make sure I can do it. But the way I want the enchanting room to work is I want to have 2 switches for pistons to be able to take out the bottom level and the top level of the bookcases, so that if we want a lower level enchant, like a level 10 enchant, that we'll be able to get that without having to place torches and remove torches all the time. And so I'm going to have to use, I think it's 30 sticky pistons in order to do that, kind of the way I envisioned. And so that's going to take some time to get those resources. But I think this is where that's going to go. And I don't think I'm going to put a door on it because I don't want the villagers going in there cramming it up because they're just ridiculous. And then over here, you remember we built these 3 buildings. So we have this one here. This one's kind of a corner building that goes and connects the corner of this little town center here. And you can see I put in a whole bunch of furnaces, and I've got smooth stone cooking in all of them. So we've got a lot of resources gathered here. And then we built this building on the back side of it here. And so what I did is I laid the corner pieces, the foundations, for all of those to match all the way, all 4 corners of this. And so that's going to be a project we're going to do. Probably not going to do that today, I don't think, just because it's going to be pretty time consuming. But I think I've got all the resources for that saved up in chests so that we can get that project underway and get the building. And it might be a little monotonous to go ahead and build, I guess it would be 9 different buildings. And so I don't know if I want to record all of that. And then the other project that I've laid out here is I've got the corners here, and this is going to be a really big building going from here to here, and then I think it's, I want to say 22 blocks long all the way over to here. And so this large building is going to be kind of our main storage facility. It's where we're going to keep all the building materials, kind of like a mini Home Depot, where you'll be able to pick up sand and cobblestone and smooth stone and gravel and wood and, you know, wood planks. All those different building materials are going to be in this. And so when you walk in the door here, there's going to be rows of chests basically going down here. And you'll just walk down the aisle, and there'll be chests going up probably 2 or 3 high, and you can just take the materials that you need, and they'll all be labeled with signs at the top of each aisle. So that's kind of what I have planned for this. And then there's one more exciting project that's going to take place probably right down here, but I'm going to keep that a secret for now. I'm not going to reveal exactly what that is because 2 reasons. One, I think, you know, a little surprise is nice, but number 2, I honestly don't know if I even have the ability to build it. It's going to be a complicated redstone thing, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it work, and so I don't want to waste hours of Let's Play footage just trying to figure out if I can even get this thing to work, and we'll go from there. So look at this. This is my house at night. Look what they've done. You can't even move in the room at all. It gets so obnoxious trying to build around these guys because they're just literally everywhere. And so we'll sleep, and then they'll all start to funnel out of the house here. Look at this, just one after another after another after another. It's crazy. And so that's the next couple of projects we're going to be working on, are building that giant storage facility and then finishing off kind of that town square over there with these other buildings for each of the 4 corners. And I'm afraid, honestly, at what the villager population is going to do once we get all of those buildings, because they just blew up almost overnight. And we also need to figure out something for the crops, because I don't know if it's the iron golems, but they completely wiped out my melon farm. I'm lucky that I had a melon slice in my inventory, because I would have lost the ability to grow melons if that would have happened, because they literally were all gone. And so I'm going to need to somehow figure out a way to enclose this, because unless the plants are full grown, they just trample all over them, and because they're just constantly jumping like a bunch of idiots. So they jump around, and then the plants go away. So that's not good at all. So we'll have to figure that out. I don't know if I want to keep these exactly where they are and just encase them with some glass and just have them kind of mini greenhouses, or if we want to make just like glass walls. I'm not really sure. So the last thing I'll show you here for this episode is going to be the Mineshaft, which, if you remember a couple videos ago, we started building that just to really get some resources, because the main thing we needed was just cobblestone, and that's obviously really easy to get. But I decided to go ahead and expand it a little bit further. So we've got this thing going all the way down to, I believe, level 10 is kind of where I cut it off, because I think that's where the best diamonds are to be starting your mine shafts, around level 10. And so this is just one area here. I think there's a skeleton spawner around near here, because I've seen just a million skeletons through here. So this is just one kind of cave system. Speak of the devil. Just one cave system that I found. And there's some diamonds that I mentioned that I found earlier that I haven't gotten yet, because I'm waiting to get the fortune enchant so that we can hopefully get more diamonds from that. So that's just one area. And then continuing to go down here, we actually ran into another area, which is actually the same. They both all connect. It's just a little different level, a little different area of it all. But this is a little bit more dangerous of a place. But there's some diamonds down there as well, which I haven't harvested yet. So we're looking pretty good in the terms of diamonds, because I've got, I think, 9 in my chest that I haven't used yet. And then I've probably found another 15 or 20 down here. So this, I tried to get some slimes to spawn down here, because I saw one bouncing around when I first started this mineshaft. And so I wanted to get the sticky pistons, because the sticky balls are a huge key, and they're really rare because the slimes spawn 90% less often than other enemies or creatures or mobs or whatever you want to call them. And so I just started digging this out like crazy. Just dig, 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 dig. And these are my mine shafts. They all actually started here originally. And I was just kind of strip mining down here. And they all go pretty far back. And then I decided to dig this all out to try and get some slimes to spawn in here. And I lit it all up. And then it wasn't happening. I sat down here for quite a while. Was AFK for a long time. And was realizing that there was something I was missing. And so I did a little bit of research and found a tool online, because apparently the slimes only spawn in certain chunks of the map, and a chunk is a 16 by 16 block area all the way up. And so if you have this wide open space, but it's not a chunk that the slimes spawn in, it's just a complete waste of time. So I put in my seed number into this tool and found out the chunk that these slimes spawn in, and this is it right here. It starts right in this corner, and we go 16 blocks over, and then 16 blocks over, and this is it right here. So slimes can spawn in this, but it's again extremely rare, and you have to be a certain amount of blocks away. And so here we found some diamonds. And then I did build a second layer on this. I'll probably build a third layer on it and try and make this more of a spawn or a slime farm, because they can also spawn in here. And so I just did the 3x3 area and lit it all up. So the kind of caveat to that is that you have to be at least 24 blocks away, which brings me right about to this level right around here. But if you're more than, I think, 32 blocks away, the slimes will just despawn as soon as they spawn because you're too far away. So in order to actually farm these, you need to sit right around here and just kind of AFK forever, hoping that they spawn. And I want to say I've got about 24, 25 sticky balls, because I did AFK here for quite a few hours and came back and got some giant slimes and ended up getting those sticky balls that way. But it's a really, really tedious process. I'm just glad that I've at least got this established, and we can kind of go from there. And then I marked the wood when I found diamonds, and so here's our first set of diamonds that we found. And then going over to this one, which I marked with 2 pieces of wood. I actually didn't count that block of diamonds. This was actually a really great mine shaft that we came down, because we ended up finding quite a bit of stuff, as you can see here from some of this hollowed out stuff. Here's another nice chunk of diamonds right there. And then I believe there's even one more, which I found I don't even know how I found this, to be honest. I think there was maybe some coal in here that I started digging out and just got lucky, because there's only 2 as far as I know, because yeah, I did block this back off again. And so there's only 2 here, so that was just a real lucky find. But so we're doing really good, I think, in the case of how many diamonds there are, because like I said, my original kind of caves have some diamonds as well, and plus we've got 9 in our inventory, so we're sitting pretty there. Just want to wait to get the enchanting room all up and running and try and get one of those fortune enchants on a nice pickaxe, so we can hopefully get even more diamonds. That way we can just go right to making some diamond armor, get some nice diamond tools. And I still haven't found a spawner yet, because one of the things I want to get going pretty early on is an XP farm, so that we can get some nice enchants, because just trying to go out and kill mobs and hope you survive is, you know, not very efficient, and it can take some time to do that, whereas an XP farm is very efficient and can go very quickly. So it'd be nice to get some good enchants and get some of those things going, because the objective here isn't really to make this game hard. You know, we're not trying to survive with the basics. We're just trying to expand the village and do some really creative building, which I think we've got some good plans so far, and there's a lot more to come. And so worrying about dying to stupid stuff isn't one of those problems that I really want to have. But you can see these guys, man, they're just everywhere. It's just pretty crazy to me. So we'll just go ahead and collect some of this. I've got a pretty good amount of it saved. I didn't actually do the math to figure out how many sugarcane I need to make so many pieces of paper, to make so many books, to make so many bookshelves, to make the actual enchanting room. But I think we're going to be pretty close here, because we've got a pretty nice sugarcane farm going, and I've picked them quite a few times. And finally during the daytime we get some peace and quiet. So I've got, you know, a few stacks of this, so I think we're sitting in pretty good shape there. This is kind of just my junk bin, where we've got just some random stuff. And then over here was my stone, and then we've got a bunch of smooth stone, a couple of stone bricks, a bunch of furnaces that are extra. And then that got too full, so we came over here and made this. And you can see we've got the 9 diamonds, a bunch of redstone, some lapis. So our resources are gaining here, and we're doing pretty good. We're in pretty good shape. The one thing that I am pretty light on is coal, because of all that smooth stone that I've been cooking. It's been kind of an issue. So, alright, so I'm going to wrap this episode up. When we come back next time, we're going to start building, and we're going to knock out all these buildings. I think it'll go pretty quickly, because we've already done it. There's really no planning involved. It's just a matter of throwing down all the bricks, and they're generally not that big, so that should go pretty good. And then depending on the time there, after that, we'll either do the enchanting room next, or we'll get this storage building all set up. And then sooner than later, we're going to need to build an ender portal, or I should say a nether portal. And I'm not exactly sure where I want to put that. I kind of want it to be a special building. I was thinking of making a castle, like a stone castle that's kind of eerie, and have the portal just right dead center in the middle of the castle, and have some maybe iron gates around it, or iron fences as kind of a gateway, and just a nice big open space. Maybe build some little rooms below with some doors to get some more villagers spawning in there. And hopefully maybe spread this town out a little bit further. But that's just another idea that I had. And then this chest here has got all the doors, so that we're all set for these houses when we eventually get those up. So we've got the prep work pretty much done. Now it's just time to build. So I appreciate you guys watching this, and I will definitely see you guys in the next episode. Certainly leave any comments or suggestions below if there's things that you'd like to see me do, or buildings you'd like to see, or things that I'm just doing completely wrong. Always appreciate the feedback. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next episode.